Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today I want to talk about the news coming out of San Diego Comic-Con. It's still in full swing, but we've gotten our first bits of information about an upcoming update for Marvel Future Fight. Now, I don't know when the update will be. No dates have been announced, but we have some major players coming to the game in the form of Apocalypse. If you guys are not familiar with who he is one of the baddest, most amazing villains from the X-Men universe. He is like Thanos to the Avengers, but he's for the X-Men. He's amazing. He wasn't very well portrayed in the latest movie for X-Men Apocalypse, but I assure you, Netmarble will find a way to make him a super badass in this game. I personally expect him to overtake Dormammu as our resident villain badass. I expect him to almost be like a combination of Thanos and Dormammu, because Apocalypse regenerates and revives and comes back to life, you know, century after century in the comics and in the movies and the animated series. But enough of the talk about Apocalypse. I want to let you guys know a little bit more about what we can expect and the timeline for these kinds of things. So we got this initial information. We got a tweet talking about Marvel Future Fight, talking about Kid Kaiju from Monsters Unleashed, and then this image that I've already shown you guys about Apocalypse. Bill Roseman talked specifically at about 5 p.m. yesterday regarding the Marvel Future Fight update, saying that we will get Kid Kaiju in the game for surrounding a Monsters Unleashed kind of update, and then we would also be getting Apocalypse. Again, no date was announced for that update specifically. However, it has confused a lot of us, myself included, because we already have Kid Kaiju in the game. We already have Monsters Unleashed uniforms for Elsa and Amadeus Cho, and if you go to Kid Kaiju's regular uniform, because he doesn't have one right now, it says Monsters Unleashed variant. So what a lot of people are assuming that they mean is that we're going to be getting another update that's kind of Monsters Unleashed themed. So a while back we saw a Monsters Unleashed comic card floating around. It ended up being a fake, but we could eventually get something like that, some kind of event like we had with the Guardians of the Galaxy. We could get perhaps some new mission types, maybe some new dimension rifts, some new, I don't know, Shadowland stages surrounding the Monsters Unleashed, surrounding some of those kaiju that come out. We could have a new world boss invasion style of gameplay, because right now we have the world bosses and we have the Asgardian kind of kaiju-esque monsters. So we could be getting a new wave of enemies, maybe some new items will drop, perhaps some new X-Men bios or something like that. But we do expect to see Kid Kaiju's uniform that was teased many months ago in the artwork. That is done very fantastically for this game. We'll probably be also seeing Medusa's Monsters Unleashed uniform, which I very much look forward to, because I really like Medusa as a character, and the Inhumans TV show is taking the wind out of my sails the more and more I hear about it. And then most likely also the Moon Girl Monsters Unleashed uniform with the side uniform for Dinosaur Devil, or Devil Dinosaur, excuse me. So that's pretty epic if that's what they meant, which is hard to guess that they meant anything else, because they're not going to reintroduce Kid Kaiju to the game. They've already introduced him to the game. They already rebalanced him because he wasn't very good. So the only thing left to do is give him a uniform. Now, I know the cries from the community are going to be, but Cynicalex, paywall characters shouldn't have uniforms. We already have a uniform for Gwenpool, who is kind of a soft paywall, and we know eventually Kid Kaiju will be getting a uniform. They would never make artwork for his uniform and put the Marvel Future Fight banner on that artwork if they didn't intend to use it. The Sandman stuff notwithstanding, because we waited over a year for that. But have no fear. I think Netmarble will find a way to make the uniform fair for those of you who have invested in Kid Kaiju but don't want to necessarily buy another bio sub to rank up his uniform. They have been, they have started to give us those uniform tickets, so they could come out with new tickets that are not just normal to mythic, but perhaps those 1-tier tickets, normal to rare, rare to advanced, etc. They might also make his uniform upgradable using other materials like black antimatter or chaos Nordstones. With the introduction of the X-Men and the Macron feathers, or the Phoenix feathers and the Macron shards, we have more materials now that are taking precedent and that are more valuable than Black Antimatter and Chaos Nordstones. So perhaps to bring us back into that mindset to save those items and to really grind for those materials, they might do that for Kid Kaiju's uniform. We're going to have to wait and see, but that's just a bit of speculation on my end. Additionally, guys, I wanted to bring you back 1 year ago and talk a little bit about the history of announcements for San Diego Comic-Con with Marvel Future Fight. So last year on July 23rd, we had the big announcement of Gwenpool, which a lot of people were salty about because it wasn't Deadpool, but we did get this announcement at the San Diego Comic-Con. Again, no update was projected. It just said this character is coming. As we all know, Gwenpool ended up coming into the game as part of the special missions with the new Avengers. So we did expect, or didn't expect, but got 5 extra characters on top of the Gwenpool announcement, who's kind of like the big new bright character out of that bunch. We're not going to see new special missions for Apocalypse because we just got some for the Sinister Six, but we can expect Apocalypse to come with more than one character. He's not going to be a standalone update. In addition, on the artwork for the Gwenpool update or announcement, there was some writing on the motorcycle, 0817. That referred to August 17th, roughly 3 weeks after the announcement at San Diego Comic-Con, indicating when that update would begin to drop, the patch notes, etc. We also had a post on Mobirum the same day as the San Diego Comic-Con announcement, where Night Nurse provided the Gwenpool reveal quiz. We now have a post on Mobirum with just the artwork for Apocalypse. Again, no date whatsoever, no hidden numbers on this one, guys, so we're kind of left empty-handed. But if we take the same timeline from last year, we can expect, or hope at least, to see some kind of update about 3 weeks from now in about the middle of August. So that is particularly hype for me because it's been like less than 3 months since we got the X-Men. So to get X-Men back-to-back like that, almost back-to-back patches in between Spider-Man Homecoming, is amazing. Hopefully they'll throw in a character rebalancing patch in about a week to tide us over, maybe rework Ultron, who knows, but we can expect something, you know, before the back-to-school fever hits. Additionally, guys, I want to talk to you a little bit about the 4 Horsemen of Apocalypse. If you're not familiar with Apocalypse, I want to do a little bit of kind of conjecture and a bit of guessing as far as who is going to come into the game with Apocalypse, because he is the big bad ultra, you know, guy, but he does need some help, and he's always recruited 4 horsemen for his kind of reign of terror and his plans to take over the world and to rule mutant kind. Now, the issue with this and the issue with bringing 4 horsemen into the game with Apocalypse is that there have been a lot of horsemen over the years. Whether you take them from the comics, whether you take them from the TV show, there's basically like a list of 30 or 40 potential characters that could dwindle down to the 4 horsemen. Now, are we just going to get 4 horsemen plus Apocalypse? Maybe, maybe not. I personally want as many as Netmarble can throw at us. If they want to give us 10 new X-Men, bring it on. However, I did want to give you guys a few characters that to keep in mind that I'm assuming we'll probably see, but not necessarily a guarantee. Keep in mind these are just my guesses, but some of the more popular Horsemen of the Apocalypse that have joined Apocalypse on his reign have been characters like Archangel, Gambit, Psylocke, Sentry, Colossus, Deathbird, and Sunfire and Caliban. Now, whether all these characters are going to be in the update or not is really, you know, up in the air. I doubt we'll see that many, but we might see fan favorites like some of the ones I mentioned previously. In addition, if you look at some of the more recent comic runs, the Marvel Now Horsemen of the Apocalypse included Banshee, Daken, who is Wolverine's son, Grim Reaper, and Sentry. Now, whether we get those 4 characters or not, again, is kind of hazy. We also have from the Apocalypse Wars, which is pretty recent, Deadpool, Colossus, Venom, and a female Moon Knight. Again, quite unlikely we would have to see both a uniform for Venom and a uniform for Moon Knight, so that would only technically be 2 new characters, but I did want to throw Deadpool at you guys because I know how much you care about hearing that character's name associated with Marvel Future Fight in any way. And lastly, from Marvel Avengers Alliance, I know a lot of you guys used to play that game. The 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse there were X-23, who I would love to see in this game, Rogue and Beast, who we already have, but finally Iceman, and that one I say for personal preference. Please give us some Iceman, give me some Bobby. to you know, rank up and destroy and freeze things with. I would be amazed, you know, and really happy to do that. Anyways, guys, that is kind of my breakdown of the announcement for San Diego Comic-Con in regards to Marvel Future Fight. We have a lot to kind of look forward to. In anticipation for this update, what I would do is probably put Dormammu on the back burner if you haven't already ranked him up. If you're someone who's asking, oh, Odin or Dormammu, Odin or Dormammu, now I would probably shift slightly towards Odin. The chances of Apocalypse being universal are quite high. He doesn't necessarily have kind of celestial or kind of alien-based powers. He does and he doesn't. The kind of confusion there, or the hesitation that I give you, is the fact that Magneto probably should have been universal in that situation if we're going to assume that Apocalypse is universal as well. He's probably going to be native tier 2, so it's hard to imagine he'll be anything but universal, because we recently got native tier 2 Blast and combat characters in Jean Grey and Wolverine. He's definitely not going to be a speed type, so that only leaves the final form for him to take, and universals have generally been on a higher tier than the other characters, with the likes of Thanos, Odin, Dormammu, and the Black Order reigning over the other characters, Doctor Strange and Sharon Rogers notwithstanding. But those are my kind of predictions and advice. Obviously, you want to save up your resources now. You want to start saving gold, as I will do. We do have a cap, unfortunately, still on the feathers and the crystals, but you can do your best to maintain those at a high capacity in anticipation for this update. Finally, guys, I want to give you a really quick snippet of something that's yet to come on the live stream. It's actually happening today, so if you don't normally check out the live stream, or if you're usually late to it, I encourage you to show up promptly at reset time, which is now, because I am doing something special and you don't want to miss it. Of course, guys, as always, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think of Apocalypse. Which of the 4 Horsemen do you think are coming to the game? Whoever can guess the correct 4 and who has the oldest timestamp in the comment section is going to receive a special prize from me. I just made that up, so let's do it. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.